My name is Lalit Joshi from India International Center. I am running a organization in Amarkantak, that is Sahdol district, where is the source of holy river Narmada. There are about 7 to 8 lakhs population of Vedas. After 6.5 decades of independence, we are unable to give them even one-time meal. They are living on madi, वो चावल का माड़ी बना के खाते हैं. They are living in primitive world today. They run away when they see us. They run away. We have set up a hospital there. The women are suffering from goiter. Children are dying with malnutrition.
What's your question, sir? If you can just.
My question is, after 6.5 decades of independence, what could we do for these tribal people?
Okay. Who wants to answer that? Everybody's looking at each other. I guess
And
somebody in government has to answer it.
You all are invited to visit that place. We run a hospital there.
Okay.
A charitable organization.
Manish.
Look, I think if you're running a hospital and you are doing social service, that's something which is extremely commendable, and I would like to compliment you for that. And that is why when I opened this debate, I said that the next 2 decades is the space for consolidation that we have. It is not that we have not made progress over the last 60 years, but yes, everything that needed to be done possibly hasn't been done. And there are large parts of our population who are marginalized, who are impoverished, who are outside the mainstream. And the challenge is to try and build a polity which includes them into the mainstream. So therefore, that's why I started off by saying that the entire object of this discussion should be to see as to how on issues like this, malnutrition for being one, healthcare being the other, there can be a multi-partisan consensus which can really evolve above party lines.
Okay, the gentleman over there in the base.
अरविंद जी, ये प्रश्न आपके लिए है. आपको इन रेट्रोस्पेक्ट ऐसा लग रहा है कि जब एक माहौल बहुत अच्छा था, जब अन्ना जी ने अनशन शुरू किया था, पार्लियामेंट ने एक रेजोल्यूशन भी पास किया था, उस वक्त आप लोगों ने सिर्फ वो 6 या 8 आदमी जो डिसाइड करें वही करें, उसमें अरुणा रॉय या जयप्रकाश नारायण या ऐसे किसी और लोगों को भी शामिल न करें, और हाइफन या सेमीकोलन या कॉमा का भी चेंज नहीं होना चाहिए. वो जो आपने जो जिद पकड़ी, उसकी वजह से हम बहुत नज़दीक आ गए थे और वो हम कर नहीं पाए. रेट्रोस्पेक्टिवली गांधी जी ने भी उनकी सब जो गलतियां हैं वो एक्सेप्ट की है. इस तरह से आपको लग रहा है कि ये गलती थी?
सर, मुझे तो ऐसा नहीं लगता है. मान लीजिए करने वाले तो हम लोग नहीं थे, करने वाली तो सरकार थी, करना तो सरकार को था. अरुणा रॉय जी अगर कोई अच्छी बात कह रही थी, जयप्रकाश नारायण जी कुछ अच्छी बात कह रहे थे, करती तो सही सरकार. किया क्यों नहीं अभी तक? कर क्यों नहीं रही है सरकार? मान लीजिए हम अड़े हुए थे, लेट अस अज्यूम कि हम अड़े हुए थे. वैसे वो गलत है कहना, क्योंकि हम लोगों ने इतने सारे लोगों से विचार करने के बाद, इतने सारे सुझाव आने के बाद उस कानून को ड्राफ्ट किया था. पर फिर भी कई व्यू पॉइंट्स हो सकते हैं, होने चाहिए. डेमोक्रेसी के लिए तो अच्छे हैं. अरुणा रॉय जी भी कुछ कह रही हैं, होना चाहिए. लेकिन सरकार कुछ तो मानती, चाहे अरुणा रॉय जी की मान लेती, जयप्रकाश नारायण जी की बात मान लेती, हमारी बात, किसी की बात तो मानती. सरकार ने तो आज तक किसी की बात नहीं मानी.
Okay, the lady over there wanted to ask a question.
My question really is that the people who are actually creating the laws, and who have not been able to deliver so fast, we're expecting them to clean up politics. Will they ever be able to clean up politics, or do we really need an alternative today with newer leaders and a newer system of politics, which is likely to actually change India?
It's an important question. Can the system clean itself from within? Who wants to answer that?
First of all, I'd like to start by telling you that
It's working. Just go on.
that I don't think it's right when you say that the people in the system are not cleaning up the system, because like I said, the good things we do don't get reported. For example, I would like to take this platform to tell you that what does a politician need to do is to deliver better services. In my state, I don't know in the state of Punjab whether you know that last year we brought in something called governance reforms, where there are about 72 services which you need a birth certificate, a driving license, XYZ, which you every time have to go to a department, pay some money, get it done. Now, these have all come under governance reforms where you go into an office, you fill up your form, and the onus is on the officer to give it to you in a stipulated period of time, or the officer pays a penalty, but it's not been advertised anywhere. We have computerized all RAN records where a person like a Patwari, he used to take money, do whatever he wanted. Now it's all you on the click of a button, you can be sitting abroad and you'll get your land records. Just to make a residential property into a commercial one, it had to go to the minister. We've streamlined the system so that it comes down. So basically the interface, which is the gray area, where bribery and corruption occurs, where the public gets harassed, we have put things in place to change this. We have opened Sanj Kendras and we've Suvidha Kendras, where even to report an FIR or a complaint, you don't have to go to a thana. It's a very nice looking office with proper people sitting there. So we've made these changes, but who talks about it and who knows about it? So I disagree that the people sitting inside cannot make the changes. Because we made the changes, we changed history in our state and we came back into power when everybody thought we would be thrown out. We came back with a bigger majority than what we had earlier. So I do not agree that people sitting inside cannot. They do, they must have the will, they must have the desire, and the public must differentiate between them, and that is when the change will come. So I think the onus is on the public as much as it is on the politicians.
Arvind wants to make a quick point.
You see, I think it's a very fundamental question. It's a very important question. These statistics have been said so many times, but I would like to repeat this. There are 4,900 MPs and MLAs in our country, out of which 6 are facing rape charges, 141 are facing murder charges, 90 of them are facing kidnapping charges, 45 of them are facing robbery charges. In Lok Sabha, there are 14 people with murder charges, 20 with attempt to murder, 11 with 420 charges, and 13 with kidnapping charges. I think there's a direct conflict of interest. As long as these people are there in the parliament, I think these and assemblies, I think we can't expect them to pass strong anti-rape law, strong anti-corruption law, or strong criminal laws.
Okay, we've had a very engaging session. We've had several disagreements. But as I bring this gala evening to an end, I want to ask each of our panelists just one final question. Is there anything at all that we can all agree on? Different points of view, different parties, from the oldest to the newest. Is there anything that we can take back from here so the people who are watching, this audience, watching at home on their television screens feel it's not all so bad, that there is a united vision, a common purpose towards which we'll all work? I'll ask that question first.
Why don't you start from there? I start in the discussion.
Okay, let's start from Arvind Kejriwal. Is everything so bad? Is there anything at all that we can agree on? Let's ask that question first to Arvind Kejriwal.
भाई मैं तो यही चाहूँगा कि इस देश को महंगाई से और भ्रष्टाचार से छुटकारा मिले, उसी के लिए लड़ रहे हैं हम लोग. लेकिन वो सारी चीज़ें आज हम लोगों की डेस्टिनी तो इन्हीं लोगों के हाथ में है. सो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ देम टू मेक सम कमिटमेंट कि इस देश को कैसे भ्रष्टाचार और महंगाई से छुटकारा दिलाया जा सकता है.
धर्मेंद्र यादव.
बहुत सारी बहस हो गई. मैं समझता हूँ डिबेट, आरोप प्रत्यारोप, इन सब से ऊपर उठकर हमें आपको सबको सोचना चाहिए, चाहे वो हमारी लीडरशिप हो, चाहे वो हमारे और सारे तमाम ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं. देश के हित में क्या है, देश जिस रास्ते पे जा रहा है, क्या इसी रास्ते पे जाने के लिए हमारे लोगों ने आज़ादी पाई थी? और अगर कोई कमी है तो मैं समझता हूँ सबसे पहले इसको स्वीकार करके उसको सुधारना चाहिए.
तो वही तो पूछ रहे हैं, क्या कमी है, क्या सुधारोगे, क्या अग्रीमेंट है, वो बताइए ना.
बहुत सारी कमियां हैं. भ्रष्टाचार भी देश की महत्वपूर्ण समस्या है और केजरीवाल जी अपने तरीके से लड़ रहे हैं, और भी बहुत सारे लोग केजरीवाल जी भ्रष्टाचार की लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं. और आप थोड़ा सा अपना दूसरे तरह का डेमोक्रेटिक तरीका बनाएंगे तो बहुत सारे लोग आपकी बात को भी तरीके से उठाएंगे. ये मेरी राय है केजरीवाल जी को. भ्रष्टाचार की भी समस्या है, बेरोज़गारी, नौजवानों पे डिबेट शुरू हुई. मैं बड़ा अफसोस हो रहा मुझे कि बेरोज़गारी जैसी महत्वपूर्ण समस्या पर चर्चा ही नहीं हुई. आज हमारे देश की सबसे बड़ी समस्या है जो हमारा मानव संसाधन, हमारा नौजवान, उसके लिए बेरोज़गारी. हमारे बैठे हैं 2-2 मंत्रीगण, हम उनसे अपील करेंगे कि एक ऐसी नीतियां देश के लिए बनाइए जिससे तमाम, आपके आंकड़े तो अपनी जगह हैं, लेकिन देश के बेरोज़गार नौजवानों को कहीं रोज़गार मिल सके.
ओके.
जब तक रोज़गार नहीं मिलेगा तब तक देश को व्यवस्थित रूप से आप नहीं चला सकते हो. इसलिए
यूपी में भी बहुत लंबी लंबी लाइनें हैं वो बेरोजगार केंद्रों
यूपी
के
में
बाहर.
तो जो 65 साल का इनका किया हुआ है उसको हम लोग भोग रहे हैं और उसको सुधारने में लगे हुए हैं। बेरोजगारी
कई बार
भत्ता
तो आपकी भी सरकार रही है।
हम भी कर रहे हैं, हमने कर दिया शुरू, बेरोजगारी भत्ता शुरू कर दिया, लैपटॉप बांटना शुरू कर दिया। और
अच्छा,
साथ
वो
ही
लैपटॉप ऐसा है कि उसमें
इसलिए-
मुलायम की शक्ल रहती है,
इसलिए बांट रहे
मुलायम
हैं।
जी की शक्ल अगर हटाने की कोशिश की तो लैपटॉप क्रैश हो जाता है। वो जो लैपटॉप बांटा था उसमें फेस सेवर मुलायम जी का है, अगर वो फेस सेवर हटाने की कोशिश करो तो लैपटॉप क्रैश हो जाता है। ऐसी रिपोर्ट्स आ रही हैं,
जहाँ तक
ऐसी आ रही हैं रिपोर्ट्स, हो रहा है ऐसा हो रहा है। बोलो ये लैपटॉप तो दिया लेकिन उसमें एकदम फिक्स्ड है मुलायम जी का स्क्रीन सेवर।
मीडिया के लोग, पता नहीं आपको क्या दिखता है,
आपको मैं
आप ये बात आपको नहीं दिखी कि उस लैपटॉप के अंदर हिंदी, उर्दू, इंग्लिश तीन सॉफ्टवेयर डाल के 3 भाषाओं में इन लोगों को मौका दिया। एक दूसरा, जिन नौजवानों को दे रहे हैं और जिस लेवल के लोगों को दे रहे हैं, जिस क्लास के लिए, उनके कंप्लीट कोर्सेज के साथ सॉफ्टवेयर अपलोड करने के बाद वो लैपटॉप
अगर ये सब
जा रहे
चाहिए
हैं।
तो
वो
मुलायम जी का चेहरा तो लेना ही पड़ेगा, मतलब ऑप्शन नहीं है कोई। ये सब चाहिए तो मुलायम जी का
चेहरा
चेहरा
का जहाँ
fixed है,
तक
कुछ नहीं हो
सवाल है, चेहरे का जहाँ तक सवाल है, निश्चित रूप से जो भी राजनीतिक दल जो काम करते हैं वो निश्चित रूप से अपनी नीति कार्यक्रम का प्रचार और प्रसार करते हैं। और ये समाजवादी पार्टी ने कोई ऐसा गुनाह नहीं किया, हर एक पार्टी ये काम करती है।
ओके, आदित्य ठाकरे।
अभी हमारी बात पूरी नहीं हुई।
अच्छा, नहीं, क्योंकि सबको भूख भी तो लग रही है, सबको भूख भी लग रही है धर्मेंद्र जी।
अभी तक आपको भूख नहीं लग रही थी, अब हम अकेले में।
अच्छा, नहीं, आप बोलिए। नहीं, आप बात पूरी रखिए।
ये चैनल के लोग भी पार्लियामेंट में जिस तरह राष्ट्रीय पार्टियां छोटे लोगों के साथ अन्याय करती हैं, ये भी छोटी पार्टी और हमारे क्षेत्रीय पार्टी के नाते
बड़ा
हमारे साथ
राज्य है,
अन्याय
सबसे
कर रहे
बड़ी
हैं।
पार्टी है, आपसे अन्याय कैसे हो सकता है?
जहाँ तक सवाल देश की समस्याओं का है, मैं समझता हूँ सोचना पड़ेगा नौजवानों को भी और नेतृत्व को भी। हमारे देश के अंदर जिस तरह बेरोजगारी बढ़ रही है, उस बेरोजगारी के कारणों में जाना पड़ेगा। और मैं जहाँ तक समझता हूँ बहुत सारे कारण हैं। हमारी नीतियाँ, हमारे कार्यक्रम जो हमारी सरकारों ने चलाए हैं, उसके बारे में मनीष जी, RPN जी बैठे हैं। 65 साल में 55 साल राज कर लिया। 55 साल के अंदर जो आपने नीतियाँ और कार्यक्रम चलाए हैं, उसकी वजह से आज देश के अंदर बहुत गंभीर समस्या बेरोजगारी की बनती जा रही है।
ओके, यू मेड दैट पॉइंट।
इसलिए मेरी अपील है यहाँ बैठे कांग्रेस पार्टी के लोगों से भी कि वो लोग बेरोजगारी के बारे में सोचें, विचार करें। साथ ही साथ जो देश की बहुत सारी समस्याएं, भ्रष्टाचार भी है, बेरोजगारी भी है, शिक्षा भी है। गांव की चर्चा ही नहीं हुई इतनी बड़ी बैठक में। देश के 80% लोग आज भी बहुत सारी बुनियादी सुविधाओं से परेशान हैं।
ओके,
उस पर चर्चा ही नहीं हुई, होनी चाहिए।
दोबारा चर्चा करेंगे, दोबारा
केवल
बुलाएंगे आपको।
ट्विटर और उस पर फेसबुक, अरे ट्विटर फेसबुक ठीक है, कुछ लोगों के लिए ठीक है।
आप हैं ट्विटर फेसबुक पे?
हम फेसबुक पे हैं।
अच्छा, आप भी हैं, तो फिर ऐसे मत बोलिए, कुछ लोगों के लिए ठीक है, आप भी तो हैं उसमें।
लेकिन हम जब खड़े होते हैं सदन में तो हमें दिखता है गांव का वो अंतिम व्यक्ति,
अच्छा, ठीक,
जो सुविधाओं से वंचित रहा 65 साल के अंदर। हमारी इच्छा है कि देश तरक्की करे, मेट्रोपॉलिटन शहर भी तरक्की करें, साथ ही साथ आखिरी गांव भी तरक्की करे। ये हमारी अपील है हमारी सरकार से। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
ओके, आदित्य ठाकरे।
मुझे लगता है काफ़ी बहस हुई है और अच्छी बहस हुई है। सभी, मुझे बहुत आनंद होता है कि हम सब एक स्टेज पे आए हैं। एंड व्हाट आई विल टेक फ्रॉम हियर इज, आफ्टर दिस ब्यूटीफुल इंटरेक्शन बिटवीन all of us, all the political parties and the people out here, I only learn one thing. Elections is full of politics, hardcore politics, सब होता है उसमें. लेकिन after elections, let's talk development, not politics. I think that is the core of our nation and we should work together.
But tell me, are you nervous about your uncle Raj Thackeray and the manner in which
I talk only
he's
about
growing the MNS? It's an important question.
No, sorry.
As someone who will hold
we
the
are talking
Shiv
of
Sena in the
reinventing
future.
democracy, and I'm here to talk about my party. You could have called his spokesperson if you thought he was fit enough, but I'm talking about my party, my work, and how we will cooperate for a better India. I think that is very important. काफ़ी issues है. मुझे लगता है रिलेशनशिप से आगे जाके, पार्टी से आगे जाके काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट इश्यूज है, जैसे ड्राउट है, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है, वाटर, काफ़ी इश्यूज है. गवर्नमेंट और ऑपोजिशन दोनों साथ में आके काम करें, मुखालिफत किससे करे, कौन जवाब देगा, ये सब तो बाद में के क्वेश्चन है. लेकिन अगर एक साथ कोऑपरेट करने लगे, मुझे लगता है दीज आर द इश्यूज दैट शुड बी फोकस्ड ऑन बाय अस, बाय द मीडिया एंड बाय एवरीवन, रादर देन
You don't want to talk about Raj Thackeray?
we don't want to talk about things that are not relevant to the important issues of the people. I think that's very important.
Okay.
Let's talk
Raj Thackeray
development,
is
not
not
politics.
relevant to the people, not important. RPN Singh.
Well, as I said in my opening remarks, in 20 years, we have achieved a lot. There has been a great change in this country, which everybody can see. But the new generation is very impatient. They want things faster, quicker, and they want laws to be made faster. So I can understand the kind of problem that we face today, and political parties who are opposed to us, and political parties who also sometimes support us in the Lok Sabha would want us to move things faster. But everybody talks about employment. And if everybody talks about employment, there should be more employment in this country. When it comes to economic reforms, we have to have a consensus. If we don't have money, where do we get money to put back to the village? धर्मेंद्र यादव जी ने गांव की बात करी. अगर पैसे नहीं होता तो मनरेगा कैसे चलता? आज इतनी स्कीमें जो सरकार की हैं, जिसमें उत्तर प्रदेश में बदायूं से जहां से वो आते हैं, वो सड़कों पे नहीं चल पाते अगर इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स नहीं आए होते. So we have to balance this kind of thing. It is something I think all of us here, and especially the young of this country, know. Without economic reforms, we cannot have the development. And that is something I think we all agree on. And if the younger people of this country and younger people in all political parties think that economic reforms will actually lead to the development of this country at a faster pace, I think that is where we should actually all think and put our minds together.
Thank you. Harsimran.
I think a nation where over 55% of our population is below the age of 25 today. By 2030, the average age of our nation is going to be 29, which is the youngest, I think, even than China or any other country. What we have to harness is a huge human resource youth asset. What the nation needs to work towards is empowering a skill to this youth so that they turn into an asset for the nation, because a 29-year-old youth has to support his family, and on the shoulders of that youth stands the nation's support. So I think every political party's agenda should be as to how to turn this youth into a useful asset where he's skilled enough to be 100% employable, which is going to take care of a lot of our troubles, A. Number two, I definitely feel that everybody has to realize the value of their precious vote and the responsibility that goes with it. I don't know how many people in this room stand in that line and go give their vote. But I do appeal to all of you that if the educated people do not take the trouble to go and vote for the correct parties and make the correct politicians their leaders, then why blame those people who for a bottle of booze or for a few bucks, they change their vote or go into caste system and all, because the onus lies on them and us. So my appeal would be to the youth and to the people that ensure in the next election, please exercise your franchise and exercise it wisely.
So 5 people have so far spoken. We've agreed on nothing. Let's see if we can get some agreement between the principal opposition and the government.
Rahul, there are 2 aspects of the discussion today which I would like to yet again highlight. One, that we spoke about the youth and their political empowerment only from an understanding of whether they could manage to become an MP or an MLA or a corporator. I think that you cannot dismiss the contribution of the youth, which might not be a part of a political organization, but still drives, deliberates, and debates on issues of national importance. You cannot discount the youngsters who might not sit here like Aditya because they head the Yuva Sena, but he does, and I began my career as a Yuva Morcha Upadhyaksh in Maharashtra. There are youngsters today who are possibly not enjoying power in terms of a position or designation, but they are yet contributing. Today we also celebrated the fact that there is a strategic rise of regional power, political power. And a very enlightened soul who's sitting here in the audience today told me, Mr. N.K. Singh, that Smriti, while we all celebrate the devolution of political power from Delhi downwards, one needs to also understand that economic power still resides or concentrated in a concentrated form within the center. We have a 125 centrally sponsored scheme wherein the center, if they want, can wield the economic carrot or the stick on regional parties. And I think that one needs to realize, we have quoted Dr. Ambedkar here today. Dr. Ambedkar said that we are not a nation where states derive their powers from the center. We are a nation where the state and the center both derive the power from the constitution. So it's quite ironic that while we have a constitution that says this, it's also true that by 2011, we saw that the states in our country spent over 500,000 crores on developmental projects, and the center spent over 300,000 crores, yet the state share in the revenue of our country, what they got allocated to them, was only 24%. But at the end of the day, I think since you're looking for some kind of consensus, I'm wanting to reflect on the words which Dr. Kalam began your conclave with this morning. He said three important words. He spoke about, I believe, vision, he spoke about passion, and he spoke about courage. And I think that's what the youth of the nation expects of the Indian polity. RPN Singh had a very beautiful quote about statesmanship. And I'm told that, the young become men when their dreams die. That's what I'm told. And I think that the best that we can do in our democracy today is to keep that hope in democracy alive, those dreams alive.
I don't know who told you that, but I hope dreams don't die. And I hope that that's
because
not the way boys
ultimately,
become men.
ultimately, I think that what we can enjoy or what we can celebrate about Indian democracy is this, that every time our democracy has been challenged, we have withstood this test of time. So as you draw this evening to a close, all I can wish as a panelist, that my nation stays eternally young.
And we don't allow the dream to die. That's equally important. Manish Tiwari.
No, I think when you talk about the developmental aspirations of 1.2 billion people, it's not really about individuals alone. It's about institutions. And I think the challenge which lies before us is to see as to how we can make our institutions work better, how institutions can respect each other, and how within the confines of the space which has been carved out for each institution by the Constitution, we are able to deliver to the best of our ability and to the mandate and remit which has been given to us. I think if we are able to achieve that, we would be able to surmount a lot of our developmental and other challenges which at this point in time may appear to be a little insurmountable.
Well, it is not for no reason that the phrase the argumentative Indian was coined. We've had a fierce exchange of ideas. Let's hope that some sense emerges from the differences, and in the end, we keep the dream alive and jointly work towards a better India in the future. I want to thank all our panelists. Ladies and gentlemen of the India Today Conclave, can we have a warm round of applause for all these bright young minds?